it seems crucial to have a direct perception of emptiness.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Yeah. When we said almost vavava, that mantra, then dissolve every emptiness. So at that point, whatever understanding you have in terms of emptiness. So there's a whole part of vipassana that really probe into reality. There are many approaches to probe into reality because we have to have this some kind of cognitive shift in our understanding, viewing. But that is another heavy-duty training in a sense. There are many approaches. Doesn't need to be heavy-duty either, but there are a whole approach, many different approaches to probe into. But in this context, sadhana, just bring whatever understanding you have about the emptiness. Maybe you heard from teacher, maybe you received the pointing out instruction, or just rest in awareness, which is pure, or whatever you have understanding or the experience you have bring. Then we can repeat that. Dissolve, then alive, dissolve, alive. Then that's kind of dance of the emptiness and appearance. We are dancing. So then started to feel like, kind of illusionary nature of it. It's empty in essence, but it's appear. Oh, not as solid as I thought before. That sort of sense. That's a kind of hint of understanding. And also you can start to smell. You can start to have a smell of emptiness. Because we cannot understand the emptiness, or we cannot experience emptiness, because emptiness does not exist. So only we can experience emptiness of something. In this case, something means that maybe a very strong, solid, inherent existence, which we grasp onto. That does not exist. So that one we can experience it. But then experience itself is indescribable, right? Like a masanjo me shera karot makebina. Namken owoni. That's a Vajrayana parameter. Beyond the expression, beyond the word, beyond the speech, so forth. But we can start to feel the smell of it. Like when there's a beautiful flower or something there, we cannot see the flower. But when we start approaching the flower, you can start to smell, no? Like a fragrance of that. So that one, we might be able to experience. For example, openness, like a sense of clarity, sense of openness, feeling of relaxation, not to identify so strongly. There are many fragments. Yeah, we have to start fresh all the time. All the time. But in terms of you talking about this one, dissolve into emptiness, that one we're going to do again and again, get accustomed to that. That's because the more you do, then that breathes into our daily life, no? Even a moment when we relax and look at the sky, kind of recall. Then they started to get used. One thing not only one thing, but one important thing we need to know is we hear all the teaching on emptiness, right? What emptiness means and this and that. That's a concept. That's called concept. We hear from teacher, we read about it, then we have some kind of experience, even like a constricted kind of experience. Then we slap the concept. I call this slap the concept onto the direct experience. That we should not do. Whatever experience it, even feels so constricted and then feel so bad feeling. Then the rest in that nature, rest in itself, energy of it. That itself, in nature, is emptiness. So we don't want to stop the concept, have to be feeling spacious, have to be feeling this way, have to be this. No, that I don't want to do it. Just whatever experience, rest in the experience first, then see through, rest in its true nature of it. And rest in the true nature of constriction, or in this case, like a delusion or the pressures and energy. Drop all the storyline, whatever. and all this kind of, I'm this, and it should not be this way and that way. Drop everything. Whatever arises.
That's very good advice.
Yeah, because we are too smart. That's a problem. In the West, we are too smart. So we have already come to the cushion, have some kind of idea, have to be this way, all these characteristics of whatever mind, that. Yeah, those are actually good, important to know. But then teacher or somebody have to be very careful when they present how approach to this concept. There are many, many approaches to Vipassana. For example, analytical approach and also direct approach. And both are valid. Both works. Sometimes in the West we become a little bit polemic. Analytical is too long and too complicated and this and that. But we need to respect both because it worked. And also we don't want prematurely go into the direct open awareness, so to speak, feel like we already realized Ripa, then we just resting without not really exploring. That's why people need a teacher, not only, especially those, the Dzogchen Mahamudra, for example, path, and the beginning, you really need a teacher and student relations. And also toward the end or the advanced stage, we need. Otherwise, we waste so much time. And like we thought we realize it and resting. And that's why in Vajrayana path, said quick path, but need a teacher or somebody who can guide you through.
I'm just going to meditate and be in emptiness without instruction or without training. I always wonder, is that just almost your egoic mind saying, oh, this is, yes, I experienced emptiness. And, since we can't really put words on it, but I know that's why for me it's helpful to have a teacher and a structure to help keep myself in check, that I'm not just kind of sitting for a half hour and whatever experience I have, oh, that was emptiness. Emptiness is not form, form is not emptiness. There is a path, because I always wonder about that. Is it, well, what is just my egoic mind saying, oh yeah, I want this experience, so I'm going to say this is the experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words, but that's why like a practice like this, even when my own resistance comes up, that's a good thing. Because that's the piece of me that is saying, no, I want to do it my way, and coming away from that and resting with it and saying, follow this path and get out of your own way. You can get in your own way in such sneaky, subtle ways.
I know that very well. Yeah, I can hear you because especially nowadays, there are so many different kinds of spiritualities, and the people claim themselves, or the teachers claim themselves, they are like or whatever. And there are so many ways to stray. And actually, this is not just a modern thing. In Mahamudra text, a whole bunch of list of the mistakes of the meditators. Those are the meditators' trap, this big common trap. That's why we have those classic texts, 1,000 years lasted. And then the meditator of the past use those texts and follow the guidance of the teachers and trust it in the lineage. Then add one's own personal experience to that. Yeah, that's how they came about. Okay, anything else? Interesting discussion, these things are.